Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are all doing well today. My apologies if it's a little dark. I swear that I'm cursed because it's raining and I feel like every single time I go to film it's gloomy and overcast, but hopefully we can make it through without it getting too dark. Yeah, so I had a pretty crazy summer. It was very eventful and mostly in good ways, but in a few stressful ways as well. And I kind of just wanted to talk through how my planner systems and my journaling systems worked and didn't work, I guess. Maybe just more so flipping through each of my books. I really hope that you could hear that crash of thunder. But yeah, so this is my functional planner. It's a Hobonichi Cousin. This is my hobby journal and it's a Hobonichi Weeks. And then in this Moterm cover, I've got a Sterling Ink Common Planner and that is my memory keeper. So those are really my big three. They are what carry me through life. And so I just thought that it would be interesting to reflect and kind of talk through and maybe just flip through how each of my books kind of worked for me throughout a very changeable season. So yeah, I guess I'm thinking that starting with my hobby journal might be the best option. Okay, so this is probably my favorite journal that I have. It's a hobby journal. I just have so much fun freely making pages in here. So let me just kind of explain. I'm gonna like jump through a timeline really quickly and then I'll come back and talk to you about the pages. Okay, so it all started on May 31st, the very beginning of summer. And that day, my husband and I had just gotten back from a vacation with my family and our landlord texted us and said that he was going to raise our rent by 25%. And so that kind of kicked off we're probably going to try to move. Just because we didn't really feel like the house that we were living in was worth the 25% increase in rent. I mean, it was a great house and we were very grateful for it. We lived there for like 5 years, I think. But it just, you know, I'm sure you understand, like 25% is like a lot. Anyways, we realized we were probably going to be moving. So then the very next week, we applied to a house. We found out that we were going to be moving while we were in Charlotte. Our family was in town, staying with us, so we couldn't really pack. And then I got sick. And then I got even more sick. And then we went on vacation. And then we came home from vacation and then we moved. And then we settled into the house. And this is this week. So it was crazy, needless to say. I guess I can kind of start from this page. If you missed it in my last video, I was able to take a trip to Good Postage, which is a stationery store in North Carolina. But they had a stamp caravan event, so my husband and I took a little weekend trip essentially. And the day that we arrived, we found out that we were accepted, like our application was accepted for a house that we applied for. And we really did not think that we were gonna get it because we were told that there was like 78 inquiries on the house and that there were already multiple applications. And so we had been inquiring about it and not hearing anything back. So then we kind of just like took a risk and applied for it. And I'm glad that we did because we ended up getting it. So essentially Thursday we found out that we would probably be moving. We applied for the house without even seeing it. So it was a little bit risky. But yeah, so we found out we would probably be moving. Obviously, it was easy to do this page because I was at a stationery store with stamps. That was super fun. I printed off some pictures from the stamp caravan and our trip to go on this page as well. And then we got home from this trip on Saturday, and then on Sunday my husband's parents arrived and they stayed with us, and so we had a great time with family. So on this page, this was the week that we had family visiting, and it was a great time. We celebrated my nephew's birthday and just had some great time together. I didn't get any packing done or anything like that, but I kind of spent a little bit of time like thinking through how all of our new stuff was going to work in the new house, and so I made some like Pinterest mood boards. We're not allowed to paint anything, and one of the bathrooms is like a Tiffany blue color that isn't really my style necessarily, and I was trying to figure out how to make it feel more aligned with my style. So that was kind of like my big creative thing that I was working on. And yeah, so that's just what I put in there. It's very simple and kind of empty, but that's what those are. And then my husband's family left on Monday, and then I had like 2 days of kind of resetting our house from having visitors and getting things back in order and kind of falling back into normal life. I had a movie night with my friend and we watched Miss Austen, which is like I think it's BBC, show about Jane Austen's sister, Cassandra Austen. It was great. I really enjoyed it. But then the very next day, Thursday, I started to get sick, and I printed off these stickers later and I filled them in just a few days ago, but I added I'm sick, and then this little cloud with the rain is from Megan Rhiannon. So I was basically sick this whole rest of the week. This is very plain, but I feel like it really shows what was happening, and I kind of like that. I like the simplicity. I almost didn't put this sticker of the Miss Austen, I don't know exactly what that's called, screenshot I guess, but I did want to note that I had been watching it, so I did put it in there. But I feel like the blankness of this page really does show where I was at. And then the next week I was still sick, and I was really banking on packing this week, and I did attempt to pack, and I got so lightheaded and fell off a chair. Luckily I caught myself, but I was standing on a chair trying to get books off of the top shelf on our bookshelf, and I just like whoop. But yeah, so I was still sick this week, and the only thing I could do was lay in bed and cough and feel sick, and I couldn't even read. And so I watched like episode upon episode upon episode of a show called Escape to the Country that's on YouTube. I'll link it below because it really was so good, and it was just what I needed to be cozy and in and out of sleep and not feeling great. So yeah, I used this Megan Rhiannon sticker and this one right here. I feel like this little duck being so downcast is exactly how I felt. And then I made the letter stickers, the words, and then I just printed off the YouTube banner for Escape to the Country. And then I had this sticker, the house sticker from, I want to say that it is Sticky Club, and I got it in an advent calendar that my mother-in-law gave me for Christmas last year. Yeah, that's what that page is like. This might be one of my favorite pages. I know it's so blank, and it honestly looks a little bit better in person because I feel like you can make out the detail of the duck a little bit better in person. But this just encapsulates this week of my life so well. Nothing but Escape to the Country. So then I was sick all that week, and I definitely, like, if I thought that I was sick this week, I didn't know what was coming for me because I was just so sick this week. And then Sunday night, I was like, oh no. I'm not ready for next week because next week we flew to Vermont and we visited my husband's family. They live in Vermont, but we had planned to go on a little like Adirondack lakeside vacation essentially. And yeah, we had a lot of traveling this year, but we stayed in a little tiny lake house and had a great week. It was really wonderful. My husband went there as a child a few times, so it was fun to get to like go back to a place that he had been as a kid. So I kind of was sick for a few days, but I slowly like got better, and I think by like Tuesday or Wednesday I was feeling quite a bit better. I still had a cough and I still am coughing, which is crazy to me, but whatever. So this entire week we were out of town and I made myself some sticker sheets for this trip, and I used some of the leftovers in here. And I printed off like reading my e-reader by the lake, and then some journaling that I did since they're both hobby adjacent. And then we flew home on Monday and we moved on Friday. So basically I packed up our whole house from Monday through Thursday, and we really had to downsize quite a bit to fit into our new house. And yeah, it was just kind of crazy. So I printed off a picture of all of my plants that we had to move. They were just all sitting in the dining room of our old house, and I felt like I was most stressed to have to move all of them. It all went smoothly, so it was good. It was a very exhausting week, but we managed. And then this right here is just a picture of me and my husband reading our Kindles on the plane. Yeah, and then I have these moving day sticker right there that I made. Yeah, and then this was the week that we were settling in. It was also crazy because my husband's friend was moving to a different state, and so he was kind of gone helping him like load moving trucks, and moving across town is very different from moving to another state, so there's a lot going on. And then yeah, so this I have nothing. What my plan is to go back on Google Photos and then look in my memory keeper and look on the app that I use to track my reading and just try to see if there's anything that I was doing that week that might help. The one thing I could add in, I know that the week after we moved, my husband and I watched a lot of the 50 States in 50 Days YouTube series. And so I could put that in here just as like a memory of that. But yeah, a lot of this week was spent getting our house sorted. I want to say that we were like mostly fully moved in halfway through the week. And then everything else was just like minor tweaks, but yeah. And then this was last week. Was it last week? No. Man, the time keeps flying. It's crazy. This was the week that I actually was able to publish my Traveler's Company stamp caravan video. A little Easter egg for you is that my husband made one of the thumbnails and I made the other one, and there's like a function where you can test out two thumbnails and see which one like gives you more clicks or whatever, like which one people like better almost. So my husband made a thumbnail and I made a thumbnail, and then we tried to see whose would get the most clicks. And my husband's thumbnail did better than mine, so RIP. Let me know which thumbnail you saw if you watched any, like if you clicked on the video. I'm really curious. But yeah, so that's what I put down for this week. And then we finished, my friend and I had another like movie night, and we finished the Miss Austen series. And I finished a book, and I posted my YouTube video. And then this is this week. no, this is last week. I haven't really done much to it besides like filled in some things here and there. I have the book cover for Fable printed out, so I might put that in here. And I also, my husband and I started watching The Bear, so I might also put that in there. So that's kind of where I'm up to. I hope that that wasn't too obnoxious to listen to. Let's talk about my cousin. So, here's my cousin, my planner. Yeah, this is my Hobonichi Cousin. It is a functional planner for me. I have kind of given up on this planner a little bit. Like, I'm still using it, but it's not in a case. Yeah, and it's even, I don't know if you can see, but there's some damage there and water damage there from a sticker that I printed. The stickers I print are not waterproof, so that was kind of no good. But anyways, when I first started watching planner videos and like thinking through stuff, I hated the clear covers that were on so many planners. I just feel like a clear plastic is not a comfortable, tactile, good thing. And so I was kind of against them, but then obviously it makes sense why people have them, because this is what happens when you don't. I do have like a black Moterm cover for this, but it's kind of bulky, and because I don't really care about this thing that much, it just is what it is. And yeah, I love my stickers on the front though. They're my favorite. And honestly, I would almost just like frame this and hang it up on my wall. But anyways, okay. So how did my planner go throughout all of the chaos that happened this month? It did not go well at all. Let's see. That was the week I was on vacation. This was the week after. And then nothing. Nothing. A little bit. I think this was, I don't know what week this was. Nothing. This was me trying to work out what my fall schedule is going to be, but this was empty. This was the week we moved. Nothing. And then the week after we moved. Absolutely nothing. And then this was the 2 weeks after we moved. So this would have been 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It clearly did not go very well. Normally I have a system of like tasks, side quests, meals, and then a heads up for next week. And then I sit down every Sunday usually and fill this out for the next week, kind of more so for myself to have sat down and really thought through what was going to need to happen during the week. And that can mean like, oh, I've got a movie night with my friend, or it can mean like, oh, we have something in the afternoon, so I need to make an easy dinner that day, you know, that type of a thing. So anyways, I kind of got back into giving myself a heads up because I was feeling a little, like sporadic in the calendar, because just checking a digital calendar does not work for me. Like, I can see it and I understand it, but it works for me way better to write things down to give myself the heads up, even if I don't come back and reference this. So that's kind of what I'm still doing. But during the chaos times, I ended up resorting to using these. I printed myself to-do lists on little bookmarks so that, I think I did talk about this previously, but I just needed an easier way of like tracking what I was doing. Like all of this was too much and I needed something so simple. Like this could just sit in my memory keeper or on my desk and it wasn't like a big giant book. And so I've got several of these that I used. And it really did work for me. And then the back pages, I want to say that during these weeks, I didn't even touch the back pages at all. I'm going to close this because there's nothing to see, but during the weeks of chaos, the summer, I don't think I really cracked this open until after we moved. I just kind of relied on these little to-do list cards. I got water on this one too, unfortunately. I printed this off wrong and then I stuck brown sticker paper onto it to try to fix it. And I put some weird stickers on there. But anyways, yeah, I basically just like made myself to-do lists of what I needed to get done. And then when it was time to move, I had made myself this one, which there's not a lot crossed off on it. But that is partially because I got sick and I didn't like follow up on it, but I was like using it. But essentially I like split up all of the different areas, like outside our house, downstairs, upstairs, stuff that we needed to sell. And then I made myself like a schedule for, we were like 2.5 weeks, or no, 3.5 weeks. Cause it was like, I had 1 week where after our family left that I wanted to get all that done. And then week 2, I was planning to get all this stuff done. And then we had our trip to New York and then we had 4 days left. So that's kind of what I used. It didn't serve me as well as I would have liked. It really all just fell apart and I was kind of just surviving, but that's okay. I'm kind of back on using the Cousin. I haven't made another one of these because I just don't feel like I really need it right now, but I've been dabbling with using a mixture of my Cousin and Notion. So kind of blending the digital planning with physical planning. Because like I said, I do think I need a physical book to help me kind of conceptualize time or maybe contextualize, like bring the very vague concept of time into reality for me. So I think that Notion might help me feel more organized overall, but I'll still need a physical planner. But that being said, like maybe as a sneak peek to my Techokai 2026 plans, I'm probably not gonna get a Cousin. Even though it's such a beautiful book. Like I totally understand why people love these books because they're really pretty. I really like them. But yeah, so that's kind of like an uneventful explanation of how my functional planner really worked for me during this time. Last but not least, we have my memory keeper. I think I actually feel pretty good about how my memory keeper worked for me. Let's see. So this week is an overlap week in this first part of the split year Sterling Ink Common Planner. And where am I at? So that is this week. I did not fill this in. I only had the energy to fill it in once, but I might come back and fill this in later. But the week before was the first week that I got sick, and you can totally tell when I got sick. Like, we had a big heat wave, and I was down for the count. This is the only vertical weeklies that I've missed all year, and it's kind of a bummer that I've like lost these days, but they do tell the story of me getting sick, so I'm sure I will remember that. I might print off more word stickers that say like I'm sick or something like that, or like sickness or something. But yeah, these are all Megan Rhiannon printable stickers too. Oh yeah, and then in the back pages, weirdly enough, this was the last day of the month. That's not in my vertical weeklies, but I managed to do it here. And then all the other pages, I just like printed stuff off, and like this is a cough drop wrapper. This is severe congestion and cough medicine that I had. I just kind of printed stuff out. There's no words. It's just being sick. And then I only ended up with like one spare page. Anyways, so that's kind of half of the story, and then the rest of these went well. This was the week that we were in the Adirondacks on a family vacation with my husband's family. And then this was the week that we moved. I did backfill this, I believe. I kind of had kept notes and tried to make sure that I kind of knew the bullet points of what was happening, but I went through my camera roll and used that to jog my memory, and I just went back in and filled this out. And then this was the week after we moved. Weirdly, I think like the week after we moved, we were just so exhausted from moving that I didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure I like played Animal Crossing and I sat around. Like I really was exhausted from the move. But yeah. So this, I currently have notes in here, but I don't have, it's all written in erasable ink. This is a Friction Pilot pen, and it's kind of in like a sandy beige color. It's currently one of my favorite pens just because it's so useful. So I have these notes, and then I printed out some photos to go in the columns because I just figured like it might just tell the story better of like we were still doing things, but it was just very chaotic. So I'm not entirely sure. I haven't like sat down to figure it out yet, but yeah, there's a picture of me playing Switch. Yeah, so all the chaos of it all. Might put these in here to help fill it out since I don't have more written down. Not too shabby, I don't think. And then we're back to being in business. Yeah. That's kind of it, I think. Like, this was last week, and then this is this week. And I also filmed setting this up, so that video will come out eventually as well. But yeah, generally speaking, I think that my planners worked out way better than I thought they would. I mean, my cousin, we already know that that one is the first to go for me. The ones that I care the most about are my memory keeper and my hobby journal. I think my hobby journal I get the most joy out of, and my memory keeper I probably just have the most value in like preserving my memories. So when I was in the midst of my chaotic summer, I was very like concerned that I was just gonna lose all of these moments, I guess, when, I don't know, when there are big things that are happening, like moving to a new house or being on a family vacation. It's like you want to preserve all those little details. I mean, you want to live in the moment, but it's harder to preserve the details and live in the moment when you've got such chaos around you, whether it's good chaos or bad chaos. So when I first looked back, because I honestly hadn't realized that these pages, these vertical weeklies were blank, I was kind of really disappointed. But in reality, I actually feel really good about it. Like, if that is all I missed in all of my back-to-back weeks of what for me felt like chaos. I like rhythm and routine, and I think that is when I do the best. Oh yeah, and you know what else happened? Sorry. I know this is so irrelevant, but like leading up to moving, I had the worst insomnia. Like I was awake until 4 a.m. just laying in bed. So that like added to my levels of exhaustion. But anyways, yes, chaos. So this is warranted, in my opinion. Okay. Well, I think that is everything. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am always afraid that I'm just rambling incoherently, but hopefully it all made sense. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!